Yeah, it's obviously something you dream of as a little kid to play for your country, and he put me on the spot there because he's the GOAT. But
how do you deal with the heat when you're playing in like 40 degrees around the world?
yeah, not well. No, not well at all. So hopefully I bump into Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide, and we can get a photo, and we'll be good. That's a very good question.
Hey guys, welcome to the Beyond the Game podcast. My name is Jess Crowe. I'm joined today by Daryl Mitchell. Daz, how's it going?
Hey Jess, how are you?
Good. How are you? Where are you at the minute?
I'm currently in America at the MLC tournament, so yeah, it's been cool to, I guess, play cricket in a different part of the world.
Great stuff. Right, we'll talk about that shortly, but today we're going to be chatting all about your game and your life beyond the game in cricket as well. So let's start right at the beginning of your career. How did you first fall in love with cricket?
That's a good question. I think just being a Kiwi kid in New Zealand, in the summer you play cricket and in the winter you play rugby. That's kind of how it works. And yeah, always sort of enjoyed watching my cricket growing up, playing in the backyard with being with my dad or my granddad, and it sort of just flowed on from there. And lucky enough, I guess I was decent enough at school and wanted to keep doing it afterwards as well.
Great stuff. And you say you played rugby and cricket there. What age did you sort of specialise more towards cricket?
So yeah, played both all the way through up until finishing school when you're 18. So I think it's important to play all sorts of different sports. I think it helps you not only in your chosen sport that you want to do by the end as well. So yeah, lucky that growing up was able to play a number of sports.
And now, were you always a batting all-rounder, or did you ever lean more towards bowling or batting?
No, I think batting was always the more important one. Bowling was a bit of fun to keep me involved in the game, and it sort of kept flowing through. I'm definitely still probably more a batting all-rounder than an all-rounder, you'd say, but yeah, like to bowl as well. It's good fun.
Excellent. And now, who were some of the most impactful or influential players on your game growing up?
I think, yeah, as a young kid, I really enjoyed watching Ricky Ponting bat. That was someone. And then from New Zealand was probably Stephen Fleming and Chris Cairns were the two sort of players growing up as a kid that you'd watch. And then once I got older, I was lucky enough when I spent a few years in high school in Australia. Justin Langer was a massive part of my upbringing. I was at the same club as him, and the last few years of high school, he had a massive role. And then probably his batting coach, Noddy Holder, is probably the biggest one who had a massive influence on how I play the game and how I wanted to go about it out of school and into the professional era.
Brilliant. Now, a lot of players talk about the importance of finding your own style in cricket. How did you personally develop your game over the years?
I guess it evolves as you get older. I think, for me, working out that I'm a competitor, that's what drives me. That's what I want to be in moments that help us win games. So I think once I stopped worrying about, I guess, the technical aspect or the outcome of it and started worrying about just being present in that moment and competing, I think that was a massive shift in my career. But yeah, it evolves. When you're young, you want to try and impress and do all the things to make teams. And then as you get older, you realize if you just do all the little stuff really well, then hopefully all that outcome stuff will come from it.
Yeah, definitely. And now, growing up with your dad around then being a rugby player and coach, how did this maybe attitude have an impact on your attitude or motivation within cricket?
Yeah, look, I think without me really knowing, it's definitely impacted on how I go about things on and off the field. Very lucky, I guess, growing up to be around professional sport and to be able to watch day to day what they do to be the best in their field and learn from, I guess, Dad's mistakes as a player and a coach as well. And both him and Mum weren't someone who pushed me. I guess they let me follow my own dream and allowed me to try and do what I want to do, as well as, I guess, guide me in certain parts. So very lucky that. To go when Dad was All Black coach, go stand behind the post and catch kicks from Dan Carter and things like that, which as a 12, 13-year-old, not many people get to do. So I do realise how lucky I was in that period of my life, and definitely would have flowed into how I go about things now.
Excellent. Now, did he ever try to persuade you to lean more towards the rugby side of things?
No, I think he loves his cricket. So I think he was pretty happy when I was always choosing cricket. I was a slow fly half in rugby, so there probably wasn't really a future for me in that. As much as I would love to have been an All Black, I think I'm pretty happy being a Black Cat.
Excellent. And now, whether it's your dad or somebody else in cricket, how important is it as a player to have someone that you see as a mentor, as an inspiration throughout your game?
I think it's really important, even now at my stage of my career, to have people you can lean on when you need to, even outside of your team of coaching staff and people it's nice to be able to go back to someone who you've got a relationship with that you can bounce ideas off with and keep trying to get better. So I think it's really important to have that balance outside of professional sport, because it can be intense, it can be full noise, and when you're doing it 11, 12 months of the year, it's nice to have different people that you can speak to and help you navigate this part of your career.
And are there any players that you've played with or against now that you have done since the start of your career?
There's a couple. So I was Mitch Satner, I guess I grew up with. We're both from Hamilton. So we played Hamilton under 14s when we were about 12, 13 years old. I was probably the same size as I am now, and he was about half the size he is. So we grew up in that, and then spent a bit of time in Perth in high school. And Marcus Stoinis, who's playing here with Texas at the moment, he was my high school first 11 captain. So there's a number of people, I guess, you rub shoulders and you realise how small the world is when you start playing all over the world, especially in franchise tournaments, and guys that you've created relationships with for a long period of time.
Lovely. And is there anyone in particular that at the beginning of your career has given you maybe a piece of advice or something that's particularly stuck with you throughout the years?
I wouldn't say a particular piece. I think I was very lucky at Northern Districts, where I started when I was 18, to, I guess, rub shoulders with a number of New Zealand greats now. The likes of, I was 18 coming through, there was Kane Williamson, Tim Southey, Trent Bolt. But for me, BJ Watling was massive. I think his work ethic and how he went about preparing for games and how much he just got stuck into the moment of games is something that definitely rubbed off with me, and I'm very grateful that I was able to see how he went about things very early on in my career.
Brilliant. And now, talking about the start of your professional career then, you made your domestic debut at the Northern Warriors in 2012. Talk to me about the start of your journey at the club.
So I guess finishing school, and at that stage I was still in Perth, but always had the dream of coming back home to New Zealand to ultimately try and play for New Zealand. So once that door sort of, I guess, popped open to come back to Northern Districts and be able to try and make it as a professional player, however you want to put it, it was a dream come true. So I went back home to Hamilton and didn't play much the first year, played a couple games, but just watching how guys go about stuff, and I was probably a little bit stubborn and maybe a little bit arrogant at that point, as all youngsters are at that stage. So a lot of learnings within the game and how I needed to go about being a professional cricketer, and it sort of flowed on from there.
Brilliant. And then you went on to make your New Zealand debut in 2019 as a T20 international versus India. You took a wicket on debut as well. Tell me about your emotions during that time.
Yeah, it's obviously something you dream of as a little kid, to play for your country, and I was very grateful that it took me 8-9 years to end up playing for New Zealand. I think it's a blessing in some ways. I was able to learn my game at the domestic level for a period of time, and so that once I got to play for New Zealand, I kind of knew how I wanted to play and what my role would be and how I wanted to go about it. So to debut at that age, I think Addie, our oldest daughter, was only a month old at that stage, so it was all pretty cool to be able to have all the family there and to wear that silver fern is something very special.
Brilliant. And then you went on to make your Test debut later that year versus England. You scored 73 runs. Talk me through that match and the innings. You weren't supposed to be in the squad, right?
Yeah, I got called up for, I think, Colin de Grandhomme. He got injured the Test before, so got the call up. And again, very cool to Test cricket's the ultimate in many ways, and to be able to get called up and play at Hamilton, which is my home where I grew up on the bank watching Test cricket as a little kid. To be able to do that, was pretty special to have family and friends all around, and it's definitely a memory that sticks with you. And taking on England with the Barmy Army and all that sort of stuff, it's good fun.
Do you find that there's a particular opposition, whether it's England or India, and their fans? Who's your sort of favourite to maybe get a stick from in the crowd? Who's the funniest?
I think they've all got their own challenges when you go against them. Obviously, the Barmy Army in England's, it's something you grow up watching on TV with Ashes cricket and things like that. So that's cool to be a part of. But at the same time, it's amazing the support that they get all around the world, especially in India. And I'm looking forward to, we've got Australia next summer in Australia, so I'm looking forward to that Test series and experiencing that as well. So that's why you play international cricket, is you want to go around the world and take on the best in their own countries and their own conditions, and part of the crowd and all that is definitely part of it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, then you went on to make your ODI debut for New Zealand in 2021. Did you find that by that time the pressure has sort of eased, or does that pressure always come in as such when you play for your country?
Yeah, I guess. Look, I'm very grateful. I think to be able to get these opportunities to represent our country, and there's always pressure there. You always want to do well, and it's, I guess, finding that balance between the pressure and just making sure you enjoy that moment. So, yeah, look, playing for New Zealand's the ultimate. It means a hell of a lot, and yeah, you do as much as you can in the lead up to the games to try and be prepared for those moments, and then hopefully a bit of success comes your way.
Yeah, definitely. Very good way of putting it. All right, then you came over to the UK in 2021 as well. You played for Middlesex. What's it like calling Lords home?
Yeah, that was cool. It was on the back of the World Test Championship final, and being in the build up to that, and then being able to play some county cricket for Middlesex was cool. I'd carried the drinks in that Test match at Lords a few weeks before that, so I'd never played at Lords. So to be able to play for Middlesex and to be based at Lords is pretty special. It was a shame it was during that sort of end of the COVID bubble stuff, so probably wasn't as full crowds and stuff as what it was a few years later playing there, but still very cool to be able to say Lords is your home.
Definitely. And then going to play for Lancashire in 2023. What is that dressing room like? Who are some of those standout characters in that team?
Yeah, well, that's obviously where I met your old man there as well as a coach, and what a great man he is. But look, I think first and foremost to play for Lancashire was really special. I grew up and I spent 3 years living in Manchester when I was a little kid when Dad was playing and coaching for Sales. So to be able to go back to Manchester and play at Old Trafford was something I always, I guess, wanted to tick off as part of my career. And there's some good characters in that Lancashire team, as we well know. And then obviously Stephen Croft now he's the interim head coach, but he's a good friend of mine and he was a very good player, and I'm hoping he can have some great success with them as well.
Excellent. Okay, let's look at your life beyond the game then. Now, if you weren't a cricket player, what would you be?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure. I mean, I studied a sports science degree straight out of school, and did a little bit of work in that space when I was domestically contracted. But we'll see what the future brings. Hopefully there's a few more years of cricket yet to come. But yeah, I'll have to start planning at some point for life after cricket.
No, definitely. Very good answer. And now, if you could play any other sport, now you don't necessarily have to be actually good at it. What would it be and why?
Look, it'd have to be rugby, wouldn't it? I think, it's even now I probably watch more rugby on TV than I do cricket with the amount of cricket we play. So, I would love to have been a better rugby player, but it wasn't meant to be.
And now I have to address the hobby side of things. Now, I always see you sat on your lawnmower at home, looking happy as Larry, mowing the lawn in the backyard. Where did that sort of hobby come from?
I don't know. I mean, it's the dad life, I think, is part of it. But I guess cricket, we spend a lot of time on some pretty nice turf, nice grass, don't we? So trying to make sure that it's like that at home's a challenge when you're away for 10 months of the year. So, we've got a little robot mower at the moment, which is working wonders since all of us are over here in America at the moment. But, definitely, especially once cricket's done, it's going to be like a carpet, I reckon. I'll be out there every day.
I can imagine. And now speaking of hobbies then, what is something you like to do whilst you're at home, taking your mind away from cricket?
Yeah, that's obviously one of them is trying to compete with Hagley Oval or Lords' outfield with my backyard, even though it's definitely not close. But I'm a dad. You've met my two girls many times. I'm a dad of two girls, and they're a massive part of who I am. So when I get a chance at home, it's probably just trying to make sure I spend as much time with them. They're starting to play sport and stuff themselves now, so trying to go out and watch them on the weekends and do that. And on tour, I'm pretty boring. I don't really get out and do too much fancy stuff. I've started taking up golf to try and compete with some of the boys, but I'm no good at it, so I might have to put those away at some point and take up another hobby. But apart from that, it's, not too much.
It's tough competition, I must say, with the golf. And now you say, obviously, two young daughters, you say there, family. How nice is it for you to be able to have them travel around the world with you during cricket? Yeah,
it's cool. Like as my upbringing as a kid, it's something I guess I did with Dad with rugby. So it's something that I guess I want to keep trying to make sure that my girls experience different cultures around the world. And as much as we've got to make sure the balance of them getting to school enough is important, I also think, to be able to go to India, to be able to go to England, to be here in America at the moment. And I think they're the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders running right down the hallways. So yeah, it's cool for them to be able to experience this life for however long it might be, and yeah, it makes some cool friends from all over the world as well.
No, I can imagine, definitely. And what is one of your favourite places around the world that you love to just keep visiting, keep going back to?
They've all got such different different positives about it. Like England, I really enjoy. Obviously, Manchester and London are two spots I love spending time in. India, they're all. Even though it's full noise and there's a lot of people. When you go to places like Mumbai and Bangalore, it's really cool. Chennai is super hot. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that playing cricket. And then Australia, when we get to play over there, is always cool with the New Zealand-Australian rivalry as well. So yeah, there's plenty of spots all around the world that yeah, it's always good fun going to play it.
And obviously, you mentioned there about the heat. How do you find that how do you deal with the heat when you're playing in like 40, 50 degrees around the world?
Yeah, not well. No, not well at all. Yeah, obviously there's not much hair on top there, so the sweat starts to go, and I've got nothing to stop it. So yeah, when it is hot, it's tough work. But I guess that's why you do all the practice and all that training, and your fitness trainers make you do disgusting stuff so that you kind of semi-prepared for it at least.
No, definitely, I can imagine. All right, then, moving back over to the New Zealand side of things then. On the New Zealand team bus, who is someone you're steering clear of? Someone who talks a lot, on someone who you're sitting next to?
Well, you kind of, everyone's got their own little spots that they still sit in. Trent Bolt, when he was there, he was in charge of music. So he was very good at that. I inherited it for a little bit and hated it. So I think we've passed it on to Rutchin now. He's in charge. He's the new generation of tunes, so he can bring in some youth to it. There's not really many people you stay away from. Jimmy Neesham, when he starts talking, you got to work out whether he's talking in the high volume or quietly, because if it's loud, you just put your headphones on. But he's a good man. No, they're all very good. There's not too many you'd probably stay away from.
Oh, that's a good answer. And in the squad then, who is one of your funniest teammates?
Funniest. I really enjoy Glenn Phillips. He's full noise, as we all know. You can see him when he's in the field, but some of the things he gets up to away from the game, he's starting to be a pilot at the moment. So we go into his room and watch him fly planes on his little setup, which is very cool. But GP's energy and what he brings to the group is something it's good fun, and I definitely enjoy hanging out with him.
Brilliant. Okay, and now across my time in cricket, I've seen some weird and wonderful superstitions. Do you have any superstitions, and if so, what are they?
No, I'm not too every time I get out, I'll take the grip off my bat if I haven't scored any runs, because I blame the grip rather than myself. But I'm a tinkerer with my bats. Like, I'll always be trying to fix the handles or things like that. But I wouldn't say it's superstitious as such. Sometimes I'm not too bad, but I've seen some interesting ones. But I won't throw anyone under the bus, that's for sure.
Very, very good of you. Okay, then, moving over to the world of franchise cricket, then you've had your first IPL experience in 2022 with the Rajasthan Royals. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, that was really cool to be, I guess, not really be expected to be picked up, but to get that chance to go there. And although I only played 1 or 2 games, it was cool to be a part of, experience what the IPL was about. And again, it was a COVID bubble, which had its own challenges. I've been stuck on the same floor as Trent Bolt and Jimmy Neesham for 2.5 months. But it was really cool to, I guess, learn off those guys, learn off Joss Butler and see how he prepares, and a number of Indian guys like Sanju and young Yash and Riyan Parag as well. So that was a cool experience, and definitely helped my game moving forward after that.
Great stuff. And now, then in 2024, you went back to the IPL with the CSK, who you mentioned a minute ago there. Their fan base just looks absolutely crazy. I mean, the noise is next level, especially for MSD, right?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's an amazing franchise. You can see why they've been so successful for so long. And yeah, that home games, when those whistles are going, I've never experienced anything like it. We were talking about the other day, obviously here now with Texas Super Kings as well, and you hear a little bit of the whistles in the crowd, but it's not like when you hop into bed after a game and your ears are still ringing from hearing those whistles. It's something that's pretty special, and there's not many grounds, I think, in all sport around the world that can create volume like that.
And are the girls allowed to bring those whistles back to the hotel, or are they staying at the ground?
There's a couple sitting up here on the bench right there, which I might have to throw them out the door if they start blowing them too much. But yeah, they love going to those games and being able to do that. So yeah, it's cool.
Brilliant. And then in 2023, you came over to the UK playing for London Spirit in the 100. How do you find the 100 as a tournament and as a format?
Yeah, the 100 it's really cool. It's obviously a different format to T20, and I think probably, if I'm honest, it probably took me 2 or 3 games to get used to the subtle differences of the 100 compared to T20 cricket, especially with the scoreboard when you're chasing and trying to work out how hard you need to go and set in overs to do that. But I think as a whole, to watch the grounds be sold out, to the vibe that is at the games, it's a very cool experience, and yeah, hopefully you get another chance to go back there in the future.
Great stuff. And now in 2025 PSL, you were with Lahore. They actually ended up winning the PSL. Talk me through your experience out there in Pakistan.
Yeah, look, it's always nice winning trophies, isn't it? So that's cool, and a great bunch of people. Really enjoyed playing with the likes of Shaheen, Fakar, and Harris Ralph. They're great people, and the owner Samin was a lovely man as well. So yeah, I can't speak highly enough of that group at Lahore, and yeah, it's always nice winning trophies.
Great stuff. And now, as you mentioned at the start, you're currently over in the USA with the Texas Super Kings. What's it like playing cricket over in the US? It's not really a cricket dominant nation, is it?
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's something I probably, if you said to me at the start of the career, we'd be playing franchise cricket over here, you wouldn't believe it. But yeah, to be able to, like, right now we're in Texas, so I think we're going to a rodeo tonight to go watch that, and it's just things that when you're on the normal grind of international or franchise cricket, you don't get to experience these things in America. So I've really enjoyed it. The cricket's the grounds have been challenging. Obviously, the Coliseum's an amazing baseball ground, but that brings its own sort of challenges around surfaces and ground dimensions and that. But to be here in Dallas now at a purpose-built cricket ground's been really cool, and we're off to Miami next week, which I'm sure will be another experience looking forward to. So hopefully I bump into Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide, and we can get a photo, and we'll be good.
Great stuff. And now, since we're on in the US theme, what's your favourite US sport?
US sports, probably basketball. I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy watching my basketball and all sports, to be fair. But the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, we've been playing on TV with the girls the last week because we went to the stadium. So I might get into my NFL now as well.
Brilliant. Okay, now as we're recording this in June, there's 6 months left of the year. What are your goals and aspirations for the remainder of the year?
Yeah, look, firstly, it'd be nice to win this MLC tournament here with Texas, and then we're off to Zimbabwe with New Zealand to play in a tri-series and a couple of test matches as well. So, yeah, we'll get through those and hopefully win a few games of cricket. And then I guess we head straight into our home summer back home, and yeah, I guess building up for that T20 World Cup with some really important series against Australia and England and the white ball stuff, and then we start a new Test Championship cycle as well at the summer. So there's some big cricket coming up, and yeah, looking forward to it. Great
stuff. Well, all the best for that. So in this podcast, we always finish with a quick game. So this is a game of winner stays on, or this or that. Sorry, have you played this before?
Yeah, yep.
Let's do it. Okay, cool. So 10 all-rounders. So first 2 being Ben Stokes or Hardik Pandya.
Both good players. I'm going to have to go Ben Stokes.
Okay. Ben Stokes or Freddie Flintoff.
Nah, Freddie Flintoff. He was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, very good. Okay, Flintoff or Sunil Narine?
Flintoff.
Okay. Freddie Flintoff or Richard Hadley?
You put me on the spot there because he's the GOAT. But I think growing up, because watching Flintoff in those Ashes, I'll have to go him. But yeah, Sir Richard Hadley's he's right up there.
Oh, I'm surprised. Okay, so Freddie Flintoff or Sam Curran?
Freddie Flintoff.
Freddie Flintoff or Glenn Maxwell?
Freddie Flintoff.
Freddie Flintoff or Jack Callis?
Should be Jack Callis because he's arguably the best with bat, ball, and in the field. But I'm going to go Freddie Flintoff just because he played for Lancashire.
Oh, okay. Great one. Freddie Flintoff or Andre Russell?
Dre Russ, I know you're a big fan of KKR yourself, but Freddie Flintoff.
Oh, Freddie's doing well. Okay, and lastly then, Freddie Flintoff or Cameron Green?
I think Cameron Green's got a big ceiling and he could end up being better, but yeah, we'll stick with Freddie.
Wow, okay, Freddie Flintoff, the clear winner. Wonderful. Okay, then lastly, to finish off then, we always get the last player to ask you a question and you to ask the next player a question without knowing who they are. So the last player was Nathan Souter, and he asked you who would win between you and him in a game of FIFA.
I think he would win because he thinks he wins most things. I played with Souths in Middlesex, so yeah. I mean, he's Australian, so I'd say we'd beat them in FIFA because they're not that great, are they, at football?
Okay, good answer. Okay, and now what's your question for the next guest?
I will stick along those lines. Who would win in a one-on-one round of golf? No handicaps, nothing. Just a straight shootout.
Great stuff. Okay, well, we'll find out in the next episode. Well, Daz, thank you so much for joining us here today. It's been a pleasure, and all the best for the remainder of the tournament.
No worries. Happy to chat.